Thank you, Kasper. Give me a minute to sort things out. Yeah, so it's more about the European data strategy that it's then a very good introduction to data spaces. So Max has provided us this comprehensive, big global perspective on the smart city ecosystem. What is the data? What are the challenges? What are cities and other types of communities doing in that respect? I would like to narrow our focus now on the European data strategy that tries to align with these global trends, but it also aims at positioning Europe as a leader in leveraging implementing the data economy. And then I will try to explain why the data strategy is also important for data spaces, and then at the end for smart, sustainable cities, communities, and for our pilots. So we are trying to. I will try to provide you a connection from this European policy to how it affects you and your pilots. So first, I will give this introduction to the European data strategy. What are the key components of the data strategy, how it relates to data spaces, and then a short introduction to the connection with smart communities and in this respect. So what happened few years ago? Basically, Europe faced this big decision on data governance. So how is data accessed and used by citizens, by businesses, by governments, by local authorities? This whole landscape was in Europe mostly unregulated at the European Union level. And then we had we still had two big competing models in the world on this topic. So we have United States, which are really dominated by these big corporations that have a significant control over data, and then of course on the whole economy that's built on it. And then if we look at the other way, we have the Chinese model, which is characterized by very stringent government oversight and regulation of data. So where is Europe? Europe wanted to emphasize this balanced approach that we, of course, protect individual privacy rights, ethical data use, but also to provide opportunities for innovation and for businesses. So how should Europe navigate this path between corporate dominance and state control? What to do? This was really a big question. So let's see what Europe did in this area. So this journey really started in 2016 with the adoption of GDPR, which was a cornerstone in safeguarding personal data and ensuring privacy. Then by 2018, so in 2 years, GDPR was fully implemented. And of course, it's not about just clicking I refuse or I accept all cookies for a website, but it's, as we all know, it's much more in the sense of protecting the privacy of citizens. Then the same year when GDPR was implemented, the European Commission published the artificial intelligence strategy, that it was a groundwork for ethical and innovative artificial intelligence development. Then free flow of non-personal data, so not only personal, also non-personal. Then in 2019, finally, in 2019, we have, the Open Data Directive that was aimed at the public sector data. We have heard Max emphasizing this, that it's important that this becomes available for innovation, for businesses. And we have, on the other hand, the Cybersecurity Act that which strengthened the whole cybersecurity framework. And then I was coming to this in 2020. Europe published the European data strategy, so that that provided a roadmap, a clear direction of where Europe's wants to go. So let's see where Europe's decided to go. As you said, the data is increasingly valuable. The EU seeks a balanced approach. And what is unique for us in the European Union? So there is this long-standing experience with creating common markets and free flow. So we have free flow of goods, we have free flow of services, we have free flow of capital, free flow of people. But what about data? There was not really free flow of data at that point in time. Some segments of the data governance, data management were regulated by single member states, which of course created big barriers for businesses to work across the border, even inside the European Union. So the Europe decided to create a similar approach of data, common European data space, which is basically a single market for data, free flow of data, and so on. So by doing that, Europe also wanted to uphold some important values. So what are the main segments of this data strategy? So first, as I said, it's free flow, not only within the EU, across borders within the EU, but also across different sectors. Then data quality, again, Ron addressed it. So availability of high quality data for innovation and growth. And we have seen this, for example, through the Open Data Directive. So public institutions, local governments, they have to share something under specific rules. Then, of course, upholding European values, privacy, ethics, and so on. And then also in this sense, which I think it's very important, it's the last point that you see on this side, it's rules for data access should be practical, fair, clear, and so on. And this protects and gives opportunities to European businesses, especially SMEs, small medium enterprises that they are protected from data monopolies, but by big platforms and companies. So this is the strategy. This is where Europe is going. Here I quickly list really some of the regulations, some of the acts that support the implementation of these strategies. So some of them have been created even before the data strategy, but now we have also the Data Governance Act, that it's a data sharing framework. Let's say it's not only about open data, but the Data Governance Act gives us a framework to share different type of data, also between public and private sector, clear rules, data intermediaries, and so on. Then we have Data Act that promotes data reuse. This is protecting consumers, but also SMEs, so that data is not closed in big platforms. Digital Services Act that protects user rights and also provides a level playing field for companies. Digital Market Act, the Open Data Directive I already mentioned, and then the Artificial Intelligence Act, which is the latest, the brand new legislation put in force. There quite some years were needed to create the Artificial Intelligence Act, as you know, and with the emergency of generative artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, LLM, and so on, there was really this urgency to enact it. So we also have the Artificial Intelligence Act as part of this overreaching strategy. And then there is a proposal which is really a precedent for the regulation of data spaces. So the European Health Data Space, it's a legislative proposal that has been in the making now for, if I remember correctly, at least 3 or 4 years. And the Parliament and the European Council reached an agreement on this, and this now should go into should soon be adapted by the Parliament and by the Council. So we will have the first real data space also in legislation. So fortunately, it's not only about regulation, but the strategy also supports financially the implementation of the strategy itself. So really, there should be no so through this financing, especially through the Digital Europe program. There is a wish to accelerate the digital transformation on Europe's economy, but also society. So there is this big budget of 7.5 billion euros until 2027 in the Digital Europe program. That focuses on supercomputing, so developing high-level performance computing capabilities, which is the basis, as we know, for AI, data and artificial intelligence segment of this program, which it's advanced AI technologies, applications, and everything around data, also data spaces, cybersecurity, infrastructure and resilience. Also, we are talking here about post-quantum cryptography and so on, so that Europe really is going to be resilient also in future in this area. Advanced digital skills. So this is one of the area where Europe is behind. So through the Digital Europe program, the European Commission is also promoting and supporting digital literacy and expertise. And then the last segment of the Digital Europe program is the deployment and best use of digital technologies, so ensuring widespread adaptation of those sectors. It's not only this relatively new program that supports the data strategy, but also, of course, we have Horizon Europe and we have the Connecting Europe facility that where there are a lot of financing sources for this part. So as we see, legislation, financing, implementation of the strategy. And now we are coming to the data spaces. You will hear throughout the trainings and throughout the presentation, I think several definitions of data spaces. They are slightly different based on the topic that we are going to cover. But what is important to understand that they are a distributed system that's defined by a governance framework that enables secure and trustworthy data transactions between participants and support trust and data sovereignty. And the data space is implemented by one or more infrastructures and enables different use cases. Now, this is maybe also from my personal experience, this is the first time that when we are implementing technology part, an important part of the blueprint. You can see it on the right side. It's formed of also business, organizational, governance, and legal building blocks. So it's not that we first deploy an IT system and we think, how are we to govern data, who is responsible for what is the business model, the revenue, and so on. But here really we start at once. So, and this is important also for the pilots, because where we are discussing with you the implementation of the pilot, it's all the parts of the pilot and of the blueprint. So how are you implementing your business model? How are you implemented your governance, and how are you implemented your technical infrastructure? And this all together, it's a data space, right? Now, you will also hear this notion about common European data spaces, and this European Commission is supporting the establishment of these data spaces that are important for the European single market. So they have identified some areas that they will support either financially or by regulation. For example, the European health data space. They are domain specific. They cover different domains like health, energy, agriculture, finance, and so on. They should be driven by their stakeholder, by different pools of data, and also different degree of openness. So there was sometimes this wrong notion that data space means open data. It's not like that. Data space means controlled access to data and various degree of openness. So we define there who can access what, why, and so on. And why different sectors? Because they have also different governance frameworks for contracts, licenses, access rights, technical tools, and so on. To support these data spaces, I mean, you don't see smart cities and communities in this slide, because smart cities and communities, we also see it as a horizontal cross-sectorial data space, because you already see in your own pilots that you have mobility, you may have health, energy, and so on. So we are horizontal. There is also technical infrastructure that's being built through different mechanisms, and this infrastructure should provide a secure, interoperable, efficient system for data exchange, accelerating the digital transformation of those sectors, but keeping in mind all the goals of the European data strategy that I mentioned before. Yeah. So why this concept in smart community? The traditional approach was, of course, that data platform was a data lake where a centralized repository of data was kept. All partners, stakeholders were somehow encouraged to put data there. It could be structured, unstructured, whatever at any scale, but it was in data lake. And this is being replaced now, but by this notion of data spaces that is based on a data ecosystem, and the infrastructure, it's decentralized. This is also why we need a stronger governance and business model, but enables trustworthy data sharing with commonly agreed rules and capabilities. And this also means the data continues to be held and managed by the organization that collected it, as opposite to the data lake, but is made available to wider use under clear terms and conditions. And we will hear more, of course, about the data spaces specific to smart communities during the trainings and in later presentations. So I would like to stop here. We have seen what is the European data strategy and how it affects the data spaces and how it at the end affects your pilots, because you have to think about all these goals when you're implementing your pilot. And then I have also said something about what is the legislation and what is the financial support provided to the strategy. And once again, data spaces, I'm sure you already know them, you know about all this, but now you also have a better feeling, a better understanding where it comes from and why it is important for Europe on this global market. So thank you. I would like to stop here. And if there are, of course, any questions, any discussion that you would like to have, please.